Hello everybody, this is Mark. I'm going to show you what I've learned by now for about a month using my homemade sawdust burner. I'm going to start actually backwards and work forwards. I'm going to show you inside. This is the ash that's remaining after I suppose this was about a 10-hour burn. So I'm going to show you here to begin with. This is all the ash that's remaining, plus down here in the ash store, the sawdust had some rocks and things in it, but this is the remaining ash from, well, I guess you'd call it 30 gallons of sawdust. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this, and I'll keep coming back, but I'm going to go ahead and clean this out. You don't have to, but I'm going to start out with a completely clean barrel. I'm going to fill it, show you how to fill it, how to pack it, and how to start it. And depending on how much air you run through, how you set your draft, we've been getting from 8 to 12-hour burns out of one filling of this stove. So I'll stop this for now. I'll show you after I've got it cleaned out. And all I do is I scrape all the ash down into the ash pan through the hole in the bottom, and then I carry it out and I put it in a fireproof container outside. So I'll come back in a few minutes. Alright, you can see that the barrel's pretty much clean. Took all the residual ash and the ashtray. Took it, as I said, outside and put it in a fireproof container. I use an old other 55-gallon barrel because even after 12-14 hours, a whole lot of time, there's a lot of hot embers left in here. So, alright, now I'm going to show you the process. Put my standpipe in. And once we're going to fill it, and I will give you pictures as we fill it and give an explanation at the end as to how I do it. Okay, now I'll show you I've started putting sawdust in. Now the things you're going to need to know about this is I'm using a real coarse sawdust. Now what you do as you put it in is I use a sledgehammer and I simply pack it all around the forming pipe and pack it down really good as I go, and the coarser the sawdust is, the more you'll have to pack it, because otherwise it'll collapse during the burn. Now if you're using really fine sawdust, you don't want to pack it near as tight because you won't have any airflow through the wood chips at all. So I simply pack really good all the way, and I put several layers in and pack it till I get all the way to the top. Okay, I'm going to let you see my final pack once I've got the barrel full. My final pack here on top. Now, people have tried everything. A lot of people use sand, vermiculite, because you have to keep this top layer from burning or the whole thing will collapse on you. I'll finish packing, and I simply made another whole settle plate. You'll see that here in a second after I pull the forming pipe out. Got it good and packed. This keeps this warehouse, this is a quite large warehouse, and it keeps it toasty warm too. And I slowly pull the forming pipe out. Now you can look down inside there, and you can see how it's formed the sawdust all around. Now as I said, a lot of people will cover the whole top with sand or vermiculite. I found this works even better. Now I've created my burn channel, my burn chamber, and now you can take and simply put some pieces of paper down in the hole, and over here in the burn tray you can put some paper in there to start, and it'll start quickly. Now I do things a little bit different as usual. I use some starting fluid. Actually what I'm using is some old paint thinner because it's not got a high flash, but I simply dump some down in. So down the inside of the burn tube there, it'll actually have some. And I put a little bit here in the tray. Then I take a bit of the liquid here, and I got some running out, which is not a good deal. Put too much in, you don't need near that much. put some paper in here, close it, leave just a crack on this tray about what you see there, about 3/4 of an inch. I put way too much paint thinner in there. That's not a good deal. Put some paper in here just to get it started. At this point, I'll replace the lid on the barrel. Put the ring on. And I use on this barrel, it doesn't have the flat, it had a bolt, so for quickness I simply use a vice grip to lock it down. Now all that's left is to simply light the paper in the tray, and literally within minutes we're going to have a very well burning stove. You can hear the burn taking off already. Very, very good. This is just 30 seconds. Because when I used the lighter fluid, the paint thinner is what I used. Yeah, it's already getting warm. And I keep a pot of water on top just for humidity in the building. Now that's basically all you do. And it's quite warm outside today. So I will, after I let this get going really good, and this top, well, you can make it glowing red. I'll go ahead and just adjust the tray several times during the 6 to 8 hour burn, either in or out, to allow more airflow. And every once in a while I'll shake it, because some of the ash will come down, will fall down and plug your air intake hole. So every great once in a while, every hour or two, I'll come by and just give it a shake. But you can hear it sucking. This is actually a form of a rocket stove. And I'll come back, I'll time it here. We've been about 1 minute now. I'll come back and let you know as to when, and I'll show you how red hot this top can get within 3, 4, 5 minutes. Okay, we're now 1.5 minutes into this burn. I'll see if this microphone, it is drawing, I have a pretty good roar here already. This is 1 minute. You can hear the water pot already starting to make expansion noises as it gets hot. As I say, this water isn't, all this is for humidity in the building. You could take this, or you could cook on this top within 3 or 4 minutes. You could cook, you could do anything you needed or desired to do with this stove. For the first 2 to 4 hours, it's extremely hot. And from then on, the burn is somewhat cooler for up to, we've got up to a 12-hour burn. As you can see, I got a pretty good drawl going on down here. And to shut the burn down, if you need to, you just slide the drawer in more. Now, I am going to add to this myself a pipe. I'm going to cut another hole and put a pipe in a flapper so I can close that drawer completely and control my draft with another opening in the side of the barrel. You hear the crackling, she's getting hot. There's no way already that I could hold, and we're 2 minutes into this. There's no way I could even put my hand on the, hold my hand on there yet. She's pretty good and hot. So I'll time it and come back in a few more minutes and show you the complete, once she's up to temperature. It's raining outside here today, but this is the system I built for my flue. And yeah, you can see the smoke. The flue's not completely, we're up about 4 minutes into the burn. The flue's not up to 100% temperature yet. But when it is up to burn temperature, all you'll see is some steam coming out of there. This wood I'm burning also is quite wet. Anything below 60% moisture content in the wood, it's better. And this has very, very high moisture content in the sawdust that I'm burning right now. Okay, I'm going to show you here 5 minutes into the burn. Water will bead and spin on top of a hot surface at 392 degrees. You can see that it's already at least that. So that's 5 minutes. Okay, I started this stove at 12:20 p.m. It's now 12:39. I'm going to brown some hamburger. I'm going to make me some spaghetti here in a little bit. And the stove is up to temperature. I'll splash a little water here to show you. Like I say, it's at least 400 degrees, 392 Fahrenheit when water will sizzle like that. So now I'm going to let you watch me brown hamburger so you can see how you can cook them. You hear the sizzle? She's hot and cooking. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm going to reiterate a couple things that I've learned. First place, I like the settling burn plate that I made out of another flat piece of metal. We seem to get a complete burn without collapse. Now, if you do not pack this really coarse sawdust, it will collapse in a couple hours sometimes, and you won't get a complete burn at all. The finer the sawdust, the less packing you do. You do need airflow, but you don't need it so loose that during the burn. A lot of people, as I said, use vermiculite and sand on top of the sawdust to keep it from burning on top and collapsing quickly. But I have found by experimentation that the plate works much, much better. And we are getting a good fry here already. Burger's about browned. This warehouse, you can hear now, I've turned on fans. I have a big fan up in the ceiling to blow the heat down because this warehouse has a very high ceiling, and it's hundreds of degrees up on the ceiling and cold on the floor unless I do that. So you can hear the fan running now. My hamburger's about done. You ought to smell it. Smells good. We're going to have some real good spaghetti here in a little bit. Okay, another couple minutes and I'll show you. I'll finish this up and I'll put my pot of water back on the stove. Burger is browned. I'm going to make the rest of my spaghetti, but you can see that the feasibility and the usability of this stove is very, very good. And I'm going to put my pot of hot water back on here so that I can keep humidity in my building, because we are up here in Montana where it's very dry, and it just makes it more comfortable with the humidity. So you've seen from end to start a sawdust barrel stove and how useful they are. And when it's 20 below, this stove feels really, really good. Thank you for watching. Okay, it is now 15 minutes after 3. We started this burn at, what was it, 12:20. So we're 2.5, almost 3 hours into it. You can see now that I have cut the draw tray way back. I got a real hot glow, red glow down there on the bottom, you can see. Now outside we developed a blizzard and the winds are howling. It's still too hot for me to stand right by this stove. Now you can see I have my pot of water here. This is right below boiling. So I'm putting out some real good moisture into the building. My thoughts while I was eating my very good spaghetti: number one, if you want to build one of these, be safe, be smart, just use common sense. Now, check your local codes and all that. I'm not responsible, or I can't be, for the safety. Now, I will tell you that I've been studying this for 3, 4, 5 years, rocket stoves and sawdust stoves, and finally about a month and a half ago I built this one. And with my using it and the tweaking I've done with it, I know it's very safe for me. So if you want to call and talk about any aspect of this, the number's on the bottom of the screen. Now, if you would like to know how I built this stove, for 25 bucks, I will print out a complete step-by-step exactly how to do it. Now, I do not own a plasma cutter, a welder. I just use common shop tools. So anybody with those common type of tools can build one of these stoves for approximately the cost of the stove. If you have to buy the barrels and everything, about $100 or somewhat less. You can do it for $50. The flues, of course, if you don't have a flue system in your house, you'll spend a little extra money on flues. Now, for a homestead, for heating a shop, for power outages, for off the grid, this is the way to go if you have access to sawdust or any biomass fuels. Chopped up leaves, many things have the potential to be used in this stove. So call me on the phone number below if you want to talk about it. I'd love to help anybody for very inexpensive or even free be able to heat their home. So thank you for watching this, and be warm and be safe.